Hour number 3 comes to you right now. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. It is 2:06. Good afternoon. If you're just joining us on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, where you been? We had 2 hours of what I consider to be talk radio excellence, episode 441. Part of that, joined by Cameron Smith, he of the Tennessean. You hear him from time to time on these Wednesday visits together on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. He might fill in from time to time as well, and he's joining us to discuss the recent election of our new Speaker of the House. It feels more significant because it took so long. Is that fair?
Yes. Yeah, and to your point, you posted this on social media, like, let's go over the things that broke while this happened.
Yeah, not much.
Not much. I do think what we're seeing is faction, right? Like, the Republican Party is one party, but there's clearly some pretty significant divisions. So the fact that we have a speaker now that has corralled that group is a big deal. And I think some of it's just fatigue. Some of it is, we can live with this guy. And I think that it's going to be positive because he's a really smart guy. He's very capable, and I think it can be useful for Republicans.
I think I have my own answer to this question, but I'm curious what your answer to this question is when I ask you, what was it about Representative Tom Emmer that made him just kind of a blip on the radar, where enough of the caucus was willing to support him, but it became obvious that enough of the members they would not support him to the point that he could become Speaker of the House?
So Trump's at a weird point right now because he can kill you from an electoral standpoint, but he can't put you over the top, like Jordan being an example. But pretty clearly, when he bounced Tom Emmer, he was done. That there's going to be 5 or 6. You're not going to get the votes on the floor. They're going to listen to Trump. Trump says no, then you're toast. And Emmer knew that. And so there was no point in pushing it towards a conclusion once Trump was like, nope.
Yeah, I guess you just read the tea leaves and you recognize it's an exercise in futility if you can't get the 5 or 6 or 8 or however many.
Yeah, call it. Let's just say Trump has 20 that if he says a thing, they're going to do it. That's clearly enough to stop you from being Speaker of the House. And so he couldn't put Jim Jordan over because there's 20 or 30 that don't listen to Trump. But he can stop you, and he stopped Emmer.
615-737-9986. If you have a thought or a comment on this, we'll be taking your calls coming up in just a couple of minutes. I had a number of different topics to discuss, but this is kind of sucking all the air out of the room as we finally have a new speaker. I'm trying to temper expectations about what to expect out of a Mike Johnson as speaker. Simply because he is of a more conservative ideology does not mean that automatically all of the Republicans become conservatives like him, because they don't, and They're not. Secondarily, I fear there's only so much he can do in the time allotted, especially if he goes by regular order, in order to accomplish all that needs to be accomplished in the House and get it to the Senate in a way that the Senate will actually vote on. And I'm talking about appropriations measures.
Yeah, of course. And I think we got to give this guy some room to operate. And that's something that I understand. Like, it's easy to look at Kevin McCarthy and say, nope, not a policy guy, worked with Democrats, not conservative, did things. Okay, fine, he's out. Cool. Well, Mike Johnson wasn't even close to being the speaker when all that happened, right? So now he's the new speaker. You got to give this guy a chance. And even things like regular order, it takes time. And so we have to accept that, and we can't immediately be like, same agreement as Kevin McCarthy, same timeline. If you do this, you're out, because then what, right? Like, I think that we are where we can be, and I don't think that we're going to have other options.
What are we at, like 30 days now? I think that's about less than. Yeah, we're less than 30 days.
We got a couple weeks left until the shutdown thing happens again.
The 45-day deal
But it's
expires.
Not enough time to go through. We've done 4 regular order bills out of the House. Or I don't even know if they're regular order, but we got 4 out.
Yeah, 4 approps to the Senate.
There's 8 left. Senate's done 0. So you're telling me in the next couple weeks, we're going to get 8 out of the House, negotiated with the Senate, and that's just isn't going to happen.
Well, but for the conservatives listening right now, and for somebody like myself, who I'm a fiscal hawk, the Senate's been sitting around laughing at the House.
Yes.
And I believe Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in the Senate are sitting around anticipating an omnibus bill will get them out of all of this.
Yes.
And I don't know that I want to give up on the idea of doing this singularly yet. I mean, maybe that's a reality that we have to face down the road, but I don't think we give that to them just yet, right?
Well, give is a relative thing. I would start the process of saying, okay, what's in the realm of the achievable that we can get out of the House? And if you say, okay, cool, we'll cram this through. We've already been doing the work. We can get 8 out of the House. Okay, cool. Then you probably met your threshold of we have 8 different appropriations bills that we popped out. We've done our appropriations. Now what actually happens is a matter of negotiation.
Hey, Bell, if you don't mind, I think this is probably important enough to take. They're holding a press conference outside of the United States Capitol. Steve Scalise and Tom Emmer have just spoken, and now Representative Mike Johnson, now Speaker Mike Johnson is speaking. Let's join this.
We're going to speak with clarity and conviction and consistency to the American people. We're going to tell them what we're for, what agenda we are pursuing, and why it is best for every American, why it will give them more liberty, opportunity, and security. We're going to speak to that clearly. We're going to act consistently, and we're going to exhibit 2 things here, trust and teamwork. And this group will deliver for the American people. I said it in the chamber, and I will say it here. We're going to govern well, and I think the people are going to be very pleased with those results. We're so grateful. I'm so grateful and so humbled to have gotten a unanimous vote on the floor by all of my colleagues here. We went through a lot to get here, but we are ready to govern, and that will begin right away. You've all heard me talk a lot today, and I'm not going to belabor the point because the sun is bright and it's too warm for the fall. But I'll say this. We're going to dispense with all the usual ceremonies and celebrations that traditionally follow a new speakership because we have no time for either one. The American people's business is too urgent in this moment. The hour is late, the crisis is great. In America, we hear you. And we are reporting again, as I said in there, to our duty stations. That will begin in just a few moments. This entire group is going to go back to the House floor, and we are going to pass our resolution in support of the nation of Israel, our closest ally in the Middle East. You're going to see an aggressive schedule in the days and weeks ahead. You're going to see Congress working as hard as it's ever worked, and we are going to deliver for the American people. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I want to thank you for being patient with us, and I promise you it'll be worth it. Yeah. God bless you. God bless.
All right, so there's Mike Johnson speaking as the newly elected Speaker of the House. What?
Got to get the official...
Oh, look, there's Gary Palmer. Look, everybody. Look at all of them. Look at all of them lining up.
This is what they do. It's like, now I'm going to take a selfie with the speaker.
Look at all of them lining up to take selfies.
Matt,
Thank goodness Gary walked away.
They were for him all along.
All along.
Oh, yeah. No, it's funny. Last night I watched as a bunch of my colleagues on talk radio desperately Googled Mike Johnson to figure out where they were on Mike Johnson. Secondarily, I watched all of these press releases come into my inbox telling me, oh, right, we finally got the right guy for the job. Mike Johnson. I was like, I haven't heard of this guy before tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited because I know Mike. And so I'm like, this is kind
of the 435, I do like 18 of them. And he's one of them.
Right, exactly. And so,
wait a minute. You know him?
Yeah.
So you can make a phone call and get him on the air with us.
I don't know him that well.
Okay.
Now, here we go.
Okay.
No, I've never met the man before.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet I couldn't get him on the phone right now.
Yeah. Your girlfriend lives in Niagara Falls, doesn't she? You just go to see her during the summers.
Manti Te'o. I had a girlfriend. Was that the guy's name from Notre Dame linebacker? No, but he was a great guy to work with. He's super smart. He's very capable, and he's interested, right? He's intellectually engaged in governing, which is super exciting. And again, a man of high character, and I love that.
I'm going to reserve judgment, but I would suggest that based on what I've heard from people that I respect, and there's a part of me, a very, very small part, but a part of me that has great respect for you, just a small sliver of me. But our mutual friend Gary Palmer, We spoke last night. He spoke very highly of Mike, said that he was good friends with Mike, that they knew one another back in their days before Congress when they were part of think tanks in Alabama and Louisiana, respectively. I like the way that Gary handles his business in as much as he's not about the fluff. It's not about the ego. It's not about the pomp and circumstance. It's about getting the job done. If that's what we're dealing with the speaker, then that's a good thing.
It is.
We can leave the fundraising to others, I suppose, and the business of governance to Mike.
But that's the problem, though, is if you're the Speaker of the House, this is kind of, you're the big daddy. Like
you got to go around the country.
You got to go.
And,
you don't have a choice. And so
rubber chicken circuit.
This is where the policy nerd struggles is, Mike's going to say, hey, I want to pass legislation. I want to govern. And somebody's going to say, well, in order to do that, we have to maintain the majority. So you got to get on the road.
0095 says milk toast. I don't really know what that means. That followed
It's
up.
sort of like avocado toast, but milk.
Let's see. 0095 says this leader is a Manchurian candidate.
For who?
I don't know. Some people are not going to be satisfied.
Somebody say uniparty, please.
Kathy says, if Cameron Romney likes him, he must be a rhino. That's what Kathy said.
It's because he thinks with his brain, Kathy. It's a really neat trick.
Easy. You're making friends here. Don't let one Kathy turn all of the friends that you're making today into enemies.
No,
like
Kathy,
Ray. Look, Ray wrote in and said, Matt, this must be a cold day in hell because there's one thing I agree with Cameron Romney Conway about. He just said something about Bud Light apologizing that I agree with. Well, there, you're making friends.
Well, and in fairness to Kathy, Kathy's written in before when I've hosted and is very kind and wonderful. But it's this idea of we just decide, do we like him or not? Like, well, give the guy a chance. Like, just give the guy a chance. Let's see what he does, and let's go from there.
Well, and
this is great.
And I don't like this habit that we now have of running to scorecards.
Yeah.
Let's run to this scorecard or that scorecard, or let's find out what percentile he has of this and that. And I have no idea what metrics some of these organizations are using for their scorecards.
Neither do they.
Right.
Look, I've been in conservative. I've seen conservative grifter land where it's like we want these certain outcomes, so we just say a thing. And so don't pay attention to that. Pay attention to what Mike Johnson does, whether he follows through on his commitments or not. You don't have to take my word for it. See what's there.
Quick timeout. More with Cameron Smith in a moment on the Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, skip this break. All right, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The big news today nationally in Washington, D.C., Mike Johnson's now the new Speaker of the House. Now on to the business of, getting a budget passed if you have the time to do so. 222 Super Talk 99.7 WTN discussing this with you, and Cameron Smith in studio with us offering his opinions as well. Hi. We're also on Super Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. You can join us there and see half of my face.
And see what we look like.
It's not so good.
It's a thing.
It is a thing. You got the beard. You anticipating No Shave November? Is that what we're doing over there?
It's my fall and winter beard.
Yeah.
I shave it off in spring and summer. Look like I'm 12.
I made the proclamation. I don't know if I'm going to live up to this, but I proclaimed a couple of days ago that I was done with cutting any of my hairs for 2023.
I like
and
it.
I'm done for 2023. I'll talk to you back in January 2024 about whether or not we're done for that year or what.
You're filling in with
Talk to me in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
You're filling in with a little extra white there, a little extra salt.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
It's cool.
I got accused of coloring my hair the other day.
Really?
Like this. And I'm like, why would I color it this color? That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Wait a minute. You're on top or your beard?
No, not my beard, of course. I mean, why would you do that?
Yeah, you do look like you dye your hair. It's so black.
I don't. Why would
I know you don't, but I'm just saying it's black.
It is. Compared to the beard.
Well, sure. Okay.
Right.
All right.
I got a little of the white coming in now down here.
Just wait. Are you starting to get mystery pains yet? I was talking to somebody on the golf course about the mystery pains. They don't tell you about the mystery pains.
Tell me more.
Well, when you reach, your 40s, like mid-40s.
Yeah.
You just, one day, you wake up and your knee hurts. Like this ungodly, awful hurt in your knee. And you're thinking, I've done something disastrous to my knee. I need to go to a specialist and get somebody to see something. And if you just wait about like 24, 36 hours later, it just goes away. It's not there for any specific reason, and it goes away for no specific reason. And you guys who are in your 50s know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
just mystery.
I can still identify the origin of my pain, and I know their names too.
Randomly, at the age of 45, you'll wake up, your back will hurt. Just awful hurt, and you'll have no idea why it hurts. And you know why? You know why it hurts?
Because you're still alive at that age.
You quote-unquote slept wrong.
Slept wrong.
And I never understood what that meant until I got to my mid-40s. And then now I know. Oh, what's wrong with you? I slept wrong.
I sat too long in the same position, and now I can't walk.
Watching television.
That's a thing. That's a real thing.
That is a thing.
It's awful.
That is a thing. You ever sit in the easy chair so long you get sore? I've done it.
Yes, and I actually, if I sit cross-legged too much, like on the couch, if I sit cross-legged, if I get up, my back hurts.
I got teenage boys in my house that are made of rubber, literally, and so they're like, Dad, let's go do it. And so I have to be able to do the things because otherwise I can't hang out with them because they want to go like, let's go roll around in the yard. I'm like, I do not roll well anymore. Like, I can't go like tackle you.
You look like you would roll pretty good.
Well, like from a round standpoint, maybe. I don't have many edgy surfaces.
I couldn't help it.
Oh, no, that's fine. I own that. But I mean, I'm talking about like the I've fallen and I can't get up type thing.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like, I tackled you, but I'm going to hang out down here for a little while.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I got you. Oh, this grass is so nice.
I'm going to collect myself. And
Cameron,
yeah.
Did you ever find out what Chad meant?
No.
You didn't talk to your boys?
No.
All right.
What?
I hadn't been home.
He sent out, Benny Johnson texted, wow, Representative Mike Johnson is an absolute Chad. And there was a picture of his family with it. And Cameron quote tweeted it and said, I'm not sure what this means.
Yeah.
So,
do you know what it means to be a Chad?
No. No.
Like, apparently Bell knows what it means to be a Chad.
Do you know what it means to be a Chad, Bell?
Yeah, but he needs to ask his sons.
Why does he need to ask his? Why can't we just ask you? You have the brain of a 13-year-old.
He'll tell us when we're older, I guess.
I can find, I have a computer that will let me know what's going on.
What is a Chad?
Why do you have to ruin this process?
Is a Chad? I'm going to ask, and then I'll tell you whether or not. What is the meaning of a Chad? A piece of waste material removed from a card or tape by punching.
That is literally a Chad. I know what that is.
Hanging Chad.
Yeah.
It's slang for alpha male.
Oh.
What, like?
You ruined it.
Well, I didn't ruin it. I said it was the little punch out.
I wanted him to have to go
election.
home and ask one of his boys what it meant, though.
A Chad is a stereotypical alpha male. He is depicted as attractive, successful, muscular, cocky, or very popular amongst women. Chads typically resemble the common dude bro figure.
The dude bro.
Of a young, athletic white male who wears trendy clothing and often enjoys popular things.
Oh, the popular things.
So it's like it's kind of like a different version of a Karen. We know what a Karen is.
Yeah.
You say a Karen.
It's a type.
It's a Chad. It's a type of human being. And now I know. He's wearing a shirt that's too small for him because he wants to make sure you see the muscles that he got by working out at the gym.
Well, I am a total Cameron.
You are no Chad.
I am a Cameron. We shop at Costco and wear comfortable shoes and go to bed early. Yes. There you go. I mean,
I'm going to take the unpopular position in a second. Circling back to a different subject because I think we've exhausted the speaker's conversation. Yay. I'm going to take the unpopular position that I think, and I could be convinced that I'm wrong. While I do not support nor drink the beer, I think Bud Light suffered enough. I think they got the message.
I think the American people have suffered enough because of how gross Bud Light is.
Well, what do you drink over there?
Not that.
Chad?
No, a Chad would never drink such a thing. That's more like a Bill.
Chad, you know what? I'm feeling a Chad sporting a Stella.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Chad's going for a delicious Stella, and maybe, just maybe, in a pinch, he'll go with a Yingling.
Mm-hmm.
But he wants a Dos Equis, dark.
Yeah.
Because he likes to feel international. Chad does. But I want you, the listening audience, to convince me, Matt Murphy, the host of the show, that I'm wrong, that Bud Light has suffered enough. 615-737-9986. Back in a moment on Super Talk. Hey, by a show of hands, who's seen the temperatures over the next several days? I have 80 degrees over the weekend. But before you know it, before Halloween gets here, 53 degrees will be the high on Halloween day. I love it. I absolutely love it. Love this time of year when the cooler conditions come. And I know that many of you do as well, especially if you've got somebody like Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling on your side, because you don't have to worry about your heating unit. Maybe you've already gotten the maintenance taken care of. If so, wonderful for you. Congratulations. You don't have to worry about your system moving forward. Sometimes unexpected breakdowns occur, and Jeff Eddy wants to be here for you as well when that happens, especially for those of you who have been offered an opinion by a heating or air conditioning person some time ago. Maybe they've told you that you need a new unit. Well, let's get a second opinion with Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. I know Jeff's only going to tell you the truth of the matter. He'll help you extend the life of that heater as he can, but when it comes time, they're a diamond contractor with Mitsubishi Electric. They're an elite pro partner with Rheem. EfficientHVAC.net. That's EfficientHVAC.net, or call 615-784-4424, 784-4424 for Efficient. Brentwood Hearing Center is located in Brentwood, as you might expect, and I want you to talk with Ronnie and the rest of the team of Brentwood Hearing Center about how they can help you with your hearing loss. Did you know, it makes sense that when people realize they have hearing loss, they want to pretend that it's not happening, or they want to overcome it by just turning up the volume, asking people to repeat themselves. People wait years before they actually take action and make an appointment with a company like the wonderful Brentwood Hearing Center. They have incredible hearing devices, technology that is just unmatched in the industry. It's the cutting-edge technology like the Paradise Life, that can help you hear well, but you don't have to worry about it getting wet because it is completely and totally waterproof. The world's first completely waterproof hearing aid can be found at Brentwood Hearing Center. They are pleased to demonstrate the new line of product that they have and to talk with you about your hearing loss. Speak to one of their doctors of audiology when you make the call that so many others have made over the past 3 decades to Brentwood Hearing Center. Better hearing for a better life. 615-377-0420. 377-0420 for Brentwood Hearing Center. I've learned things today. I've learned who the new Speaker of the House is. I've learned what a Chad is. I've learned other things that I can't quite remember at this moment. It's 2:35, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You live in Nolensville.
I do.
Do y'all have you got a mayor down there?
We have a board of mayor and alder. No, it's a council mayor type setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a mayor, though.
Yeah, and I assume you go to the polls and vote for your mayor for you. You follow this Franklin mayor's race at all?
Yeah, that was super weird.
Yeah, it got kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And I think the people spoke. I mean, Phil Williams is trying to do a victory lap with News Channel 5, but I think this was already baked into the cake, frankly, before Phil got involved in it. He can, break his arm, patting himself on the back all he wants, but I don't think he had anything to do with it. I think the people of Franklin saw clearly how they wanted their city to go over the next few years.
Yeah, you're weird.
Yeah.
Like, particularly when it was the Tennessee Common Group, or like whatever the white supremacist group that was hanging out with her was, it was sort of like, well, that's strange.
Yeah, I mean, they come on, they come to a couple of her functions and people question why they're there. Oh, we're here to provide security. Oh, I don't pay them. What, so it's just an informal arrangement? And then eventually she won't repudiate. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to denounce neo-Nazis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those things you should be like, nah, guys.
Hey, do you denounce neo-Nazis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
It's real simple.
That's pretty...
Yeah, I don't know why they're here. They do not... I do not affiliate or associate with that viewpoint or that.
I think they should leave.
Yeah, they should probably not be here. This is my event. Bye. I don't understand why so many people seem to be so bad at this. And I guess they're like, well, I kind of want to make sure I can get the vote of the white supremacists. No, just no. Like, you don't need to cater to that audience ever and just say, that's weird. No, that's wrong. We don't do that.
Trent in Lawrenceburg has a question for you and I, and I think it merits an answer. What's going on with the Crockett movie? That's being shot, right? I mean, it's currently. Talk to me about it.
It is getting screened at the American Film Festival in Poland, which seems like a weird place for a film festival.
Yeah.
But
American one anyway.
Yeah, the director. But this is where the American Film Festival is, where there's all these buyers, like 1,100 buyers to go buy all the films for the year, right? It's think like a farmer's market for films.
Yeah, they walk through, they peruse the films,
right, and
check
we've got
them
a
out.
screening there, and we're really excited about it. I mean, all this stuff is way slow, and it's just been frustrating. But we've got the thing in the can; it's ready to rock. We've got an agent. We're ready to go, and then hopefully we'll get a big sale, and otherwise we'll start distributing it, and it'll be out there.
Matt's just a little anxious because of all that big back end money he can look forward to.
Oh yeah, residuals. That's what I'm looking forward to. The 12-cent residual checks. Those add up. Believe it or not.
You got the film, the scene that you were in, right?
I think so. I think Derek sent it to me.
Yeah.
Well, I think he said he was going to send it to me.
No, he did, because he asked me for your contact specifically. He's like, it's taken a while, but I got it. And so, we need to see that someday.
That was fun. It was good to be a part of that. It's cool to watch how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
Because you have no idea I'll give you an example, and I don't want to give anything up in the movie.
Yeah, you're not gonna
but
spoil anything.
there's a point in the movie where a log cabin burns down, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is a log cabin that is used for a lot of the film. You know, a lot of the scenes where Davy Crockett and his family are, that's the log cabin, right? They build a log cabin for the purpose of filming at the log cabin. Well, when the time comes to burn the log cabin down, you really got one shot at it.
Right.
You're not sitting out there with multiple cabins. You know?
Right. You only got one shot at it, and you better be buttoned down in order to get it right. Because if you get it wrong, there's trouble.
Yeah, and so what I didn't realize, the biggest shock to me was that you don't shoot movies chronologically.
No.
You shoot it based on scene, location. You got a day of days that tells you where you are, and to make it efficiently, right? To make sure that you're not wasting your budget by taking your whole film crew and moving it from one place back and forth. You don't want to do that. And so you're shooting scenes. You're like, where does this one go? And it's very difficult as somebody coming in and out and paying attention and then not to realize, oh, this is the end of the movie. We're shooting it now, but obviously we can't burn down the house till the end. It's really interesting.
So right. And knowing that and understanding that gives you a greater appreciation, at least it does for me, for the actors in the film. But I've never had a big enough part in a movie. I've had a couple of bit parts in movies,
Sure.
right? But they're just one-off scenes. But understanding if you're an actor in a film and that film is a chronological study, so you start from one emotional place and you get to another emotional place.
Right.
Well, recognize when you're watching that movie, that actor is at that emotional peak where they're bawling or they're angry or whatever they might be. They're just in that emotional moment. They have to get in that emotional moment like way out of whack with where the rest of the movie is, and just keeping up with where you are in the arc of the story and where you are from an emotional standpoint as an actor to get in. I mean, the better actors that do it, and you're doing all of this more often than not with this big honking camera like 14 inches from your face.
You got all these lights, all these people, everything around you, and you're doing take after take to get the thing. And here's the one thing that just is so shocking is, I don't know about you, but my life doesn't come with a soundtrack. And so when you're listening in a movie, you see the music, you feel it. You don't think about it, but the music adds so much. The sound adds so much. And when you don't have that, right? This is a heartstrings moment. The music's right there. Well, in real life, when you're actually filming that, there's none of that. And so when you got to get real sad because somebody took your kid or something like that, there's no music playing. It's just you got to act real sad.
And I've been a part of screenings, and I think there was music when we screened. I think there was some music. I don't think it was.
It wasn't. Everything wasn't. Super
Everything
final,
wasn't there, but there was some music. If you ever screen a movie without the soundtrack, you realize how important the soundtrack is. You don't really notice it that much because you're not supposed to. But without that layer underneath the film, there's a lot of points where you're like, "Wow, what's going on? It's real quiet."
Yeah,
It's
so
just weird.
you see it back. So when they film the shot and then they show it back on the monitor, and so you're just looking at basically a computer screen and they show you the scene and there's no music and you're like, cool, that acting was real acting-ish. But all the emotions, the music, the acting, everything. So it's neat when you see it all come together. It's pretty cool.
So are you going to Poland?
No. One of my partners is and the director is, and they'll do their thing. But I don't know what I'd just be. You should buy the movie like now. Do it.
That's your role.
That's what Poland. That's what I would do.
Yeah, strong arm them.
Yeah, you should do it.
But thanks for the question, Trent.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
appreciate that. That's awesome. 243 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So you're not with my spirited defense of Bud Light. They've suffered enough. You feel like they've caused so much suffering with their poor quality of alcoholic beverage for so many years.
This has nothing to do with that Mulvaney person. This is just people have options now. Like, welcome to 2023.
Obviously my tongue's a little in my cheek when I say that we should forgive them because they've suffered enough, but I just love the idea that it took Dylan Mulvaney for so many Americans to realize that they were drinking crappy beer.
Yeah.
Like, we have so many other crappy beer options. We don't need your crappy Bud Light. I was just picking crappy Bud Light because it's cheap.
And it was there.
Yeah.
And then, no, it's great because this is the greatest American thing ever. Suddenly, a transgender influencer who doesn't know anything about basketball and probably doesn't drink Bud Light, says Bud Light's great. And look at my face on the can. And then people are like, whoa, wait a minute. I guess we can't drink this anymore. And then they also subsequently realized, and it tastes really bad.
I don't think, I understand that started it all.
Sure.
Obviously. I don't think that this goes nearly where it led to without the unearthing of the video, though, of the vice president of marketing or whatever, with her saying that, you got a bunch of bros and rubes and they're, her basically trashing the customer base of Bud Light. That took it to the next level.
It did. Also, Kid Rock shooting stuff. Those two things. And then it took on a life of its own. There are people refusing to drink Bud Light now and have no idea why, other than my friends don't drink Bud Light, so I'm not going to drink it. Let me tell you,
if you go to an event where there's a guy, I was at an event Sunday afternoon, and there was alcohol being served, beer being served, and there were Coors products, and there was a Yingling product, and there were no Bud Light products.
Right. And
because it's too dangerous. If especially in the political world.
Yeah.
And I told this story when it happened, when IndyCar was here in Nashville. There were organizations giving away Bud Light at their little kiosks and they were like, who wants free beer? They were telling people, who wants free beer? And like people, I want free beer. And then they hold up the Bud Light. And some people would take it because, free beer. But a lot of people were like, nope, not that free beer. Thank you very much.
Right.
Like, wow. You're drawing a line in the sand there.
And this is the thing to remember. If it's really difficult for people to protest, they won't do it. But when it's so easy to be like, no, I will not drink your nasty beer, then
I'll drink that nasty beer right over there.
Right.
There's plenty of other nasty beer to choose from. My favorite, though, and I'm not knocking anybody. I understand we all have to draw a line in the sand somewhere. But my favorite thing is, no, I am not drinking your nasty Bud Light. I will have a Mick Ultra.
I have a conservative friend who I will not name that is just like, I am showing you how conservative I am by drinking Mick Ultra. And I'm like, dude, that's the Gatorade of beers. We all know it. What are you doing? And
number two, made by the same people.
Yeah.
Made by the same people. But money going to the same place.
It's like, I'm sticking it to the man. I'm like, I don't think, okay.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
I think Pabst Blue Ribbon is what you're looking for, which I'm a big fan of. All right, 2:46. We'll check in with Brian Wilson coming up in moments, find out what's going on this afternoon. I am certain, I don't want to speak for the man, but I am certain that we will have an update on the United States Speaker of the House, one Mr. Johnson, on the drive this afternoon. We'll find out together in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Giggity. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Real quick, Bobby is in Nashville. Want to say hello to Bobby. He's been holding for some time. Bobby, what's on your mind, buddy?
Hey, buddy, I just want to run this by you. I don't know if you guys have heard anything, but a lot of these businesses are beginning to close down for one day. Trader Joe's, Lowe's, they're closing down throughout the United States, and they're all closing that one particular day. I was just wondering if you guys have heard anything.
For what purpose, Bobby?
Well, I think I'm not, conspiracy therapist or something, but I think it's something to do with the government's trying to, incorporate something. I didn't know if you guys had heard anything about it.
Why are 800 U.S. small businesses closed? Well, that's just businesses.
They're not all closing the same day. It's just like Lowe's is closing the one day, and then another day would be Trader Joe's and so on. I mean, they've been advertising it pretty heavy on the internet.
Okay, so what should I look up if I'm trying to find out more information about this on the internet?
Maybe I would think why the business is closing for one day, or something like that. But, I mean, it has been hitting on the internet, and I didn't know if you guys had checked into that. So,
you know what? I've missed it. That might be a failure on my part that I missed it. Mm-hmm. But, Bobby, I'll look into it, and whatever I can find, I will find, and I will report back to you ASAP. How about that?
Okay, brother, I appreciate you taking my call. Thank you.
No problem at all. Cameron Smith is with me as we say hello to our good friend Brian Wilson in advance of the drive with Brian Wilson coming up in mere moments to get a snap reaction from Mr. Wilson about our newly elected Speaker of the House. How about that, Brian?
Snappy.
I feel like we're bohemian now.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that our long national nightmare is over. I'm going to quibble with you just a little bit, though, if I could.
Yeah, come on.
I love you, brother. You know I do.
Yeah, I got it.
But I heard it that you said that you didn't believe it made a difference who was Speaker of the House, and I think I would quibble with that. I think leadership does matter, and I think our politics is the art of the possible. Everybody has their positions, but what is the best possible outcome that can get it to the requisite number of votes? That's a skill and that's a talent, and it will be interesting to see whether this new speaker, who has never, as far as I know, has never served in leadership, can acquire those skills quite rapidly. I have to say, I listened to his speech after he was nominated and before he took the oath, and I was quite impressed with his communication skills and his humility and his willingness to stand by conservative principles and say we're going to fight, but we're also going to get the work of the people's business done. And I sort of like the cut of his jib, not knowing a lot about him. My first impression is very strong.
Well, I guess my point is this, Brian, and tell me what you think about it, that because we have a more conservative-minded speaker from an ideological standpoint, that's not automatically going to make the body itself more conservative.
No.
And so maybe, certain personalities can convince others within the caucus to vote along these conservative lines. Maybe not. I was fascinated more broadly with the manner in which we focused on the speakership in a way that I've not seen in a long, long time. Maybe since Paul Ryan became the Speaker of the House, even with the McCarthy votes.
We never have.
I mean, but your point is well taken. That if you get someone that can herd cats better than others, you can potentially get better outcomes.
Yes,
I get that.
Yeah, I think it's the carrot and the club are the tools you have as Speaker. And how can you squeeze the best possible outcome from your perspective? I mean, the Republicans are in the majority, so you want to get conservative outcomes clearly, but you're not always going to be able to get that. So how close can you get to something that is your perfect desire? I still believe in the old-fashioned concept of compromise at times, where to get something accomplished. And, sometimes what they're trying to do is not worthy of actually getting accomplished. But to get something accomplished, you've got to find, a point of compromise where you can get 70, 80% of what you want and then move forward. And it seems like we're in a position these days where it is thought, well, if you can't have 100%, then we're not going to have anything at all. And I think that's not the way it's supposed to work in America.
Well,
I think we try to, Reagan used to sit down with Tip O'Neill and walk away with 70%, and everybody thought he was the greatest president in the history of the nation.
Well, you're right. You are right. You're dead on that. Somewhere along the way, compromise became a word of weakness. And my grandfather always had the saying that, would you like 50% of something or 100% of nothing, right?
That's exactly right.
And, well, I get that. Well, we look forward to the drive this afternoon with Brian Wilson. He cranks up right after McMurray's newscast, and that's coming up in mere moments, anticipating what Brian has to say comprehensively about the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, elected just earlier today. Our long national nightmare is over. Brian's coming up with the drive, and I'm back tomorrow at high noon for another edition of The Murphy Show. Until then, have a wonderful afternoon, folks. Hug your loved ones. We'll talk tomorrow. So long.